Holy Ghost. You sure pretty. Hey, see, I'm doing
Thanks.
that. I'm not doing that as a joke for real. Like it's just that's when I look.
Thanks.
Can I rub your shoulder?
Sure.
Thank you. Ah, let's see
Are
here.
you on live?
Yeah, we're live. Yep. Ah, our test mode, the internet was acting funny today a little bit. I went and made some changes. Hey, welcome,
Hello.
whoever's here, anonymous person. What's up, Stephanie?
Hi, Stephanie.
Good to see you. Good to see you. We're just giving a minute. Camille looked pretty, so I asked her if I could rub her shoulder earlier, and I did. I rubbed her shoulder. I did do that. Hope you all are well. Come on in. Come on in. I hope that your day is going wonderfully. I hope that you have peace. I hope that you have joy. I hope that you have vision. What you hope they have as they're coming in today?
Happy.
You hope they have happy. Oh,
Hey, look at my. That's not why I said that, but my shirt says choose happy.
oh, we can't see it. Mine says, "Here comes this dream." I hope you have dreams. I hope you have happiness. We just hoping good things for y'all today. What's up,
Hey,
Andrea?
Andrea.
Good to see you. It's a beautiful day here in the greater Tennessee, greater Nashville, Tennessee region of the world and country, the states. We hope you all are doing well today. As we're giving people a few minutes to join us, let us know. Let us know how you're entering this space. Let us know what you're coming here with today. We all enter every space that we go into with something. Sometimes it's with hope. Sometimes it's with angst and anxiety. Sometimes it's with a lot that you feel like you're going to have to give. Oh, look at that. That's a gray beard hair. Let's identify that. That is a gray beard hair that has come off of me because I'm aging. It doesn't want to leave. It's persistent. It's like white.
Yeah.
I don't know if those bother anybody else. I know much of our weekly wisdom crowd is in, between me and Camille's age ranges. Some of you a little further up. But I don't know. Does that bother y'all? Since we're talking about how we're entering this space, I'm entering with. I was cutting off some of my beard today, and there's I like the gray. I like the salt and pepper, but there's so much now. Um, and so I don't know if that bothers anybody else. As you're reaching those ages where your hair begins, the hair that is left begins to transition like an autumn tree, changing colors with the seasons. Uh, I don't know if that bothers anybody else. It doesn't really bother me, but boy, oh boy, they're saying we here. We're about to dominate your face.
I call him disrespectful.
They're disrespectful to Camille. Yeah. Camille thinks that they're disrespectful. I think that they're earned. They're a sign of what I have endured dealing with folks down through the years. It started with those choirs I used to work with, those choirs I used to train and direct. If you were ever in a choir that I was a part of, you gave me some of these. You made me lose some of these. You wouldn't learn your parts and stuff.
It's a part of life, so even though I feel like they're disrespectful, I'm also trying to see if I'm going to embrace or dye them. But I don't like the idea of chemicals. So,
There are options. Are there non chemical ways to dye your hair? I don't know. What do you consider a chemical?
just stuff.
Man made stuff. So are there natural?
I mean, there might be something that's maybe more natural, but it's not gonna last
Hmm.
that long, probably.
I hear you. So, okay, this leads me to a question. We've given time for people to join. You all, as far as I can tell, have not weighed in on our conversation about the grades. It's possible I could be missing it though, because things are funny acting right now. So, but I do want to ask a question. Can I ask a question during our weekly wisdom time of you today? And I hope that you do engage. Uh, in whatever you deem as the next season of your life, what do you want to see differently in that season than you've seen in the seasons leading up to where you are right now? All right. I'd love to hear from you. Just as you're turning on your futuristic, dreaming, visionary things of what is to come in the upcoming seasons. What's up, Lysandra? My question for you today is: what do you hope to see in the season that you're entering that you haven't seen so far in the seasons that have led up to now? I like for us to think. I like for us to think about where we've been, where we are, and where we're going. And so, as we sit on today, today is the bridge between your history and your future. Ah, I felt that when it came out of my mouth. Your today, your now, your present tense is the bridge between your history, your context, what has taken place already, what's behind you, and your future, where you're headed, where you're trying to go. I see you, Lysandra, what you are looking for in this season that you have just embarked upon, that you're entering into, is more success. I like that. That indicates to me that there has been a level of success leading up until today, but you're looking for it to grow, to exponentially build upon itself and to become more. I'm going to ask you a sub question to kind of push a little bit further as we engage this. What is success? Because everybody's definitions of success are just a little bit different, right? So success for you is going to look different than success for me might look. So what are we talking about when we say these broad words like success? What does that mean specifically for you as you're entering this season that you are entering into? And let it not be lost on us, all of us, that we are entering a new season right now. Whether we're talking about on the earth, the physical seasons of the calendar year, or whether we're talking about what Camille has brought to our attention in her study of Hebrew history and culture, that we've just entered into a new year on the Hebrew calendar, the new season spiritually, the new dimensions that we're entering in, maybe even just another phase of life. Some of us are moving from one generational season to another, whatever that might be. I see you. I see you. Thank you, Lysandra. More success for you entails and includes more stability, but also international movement. Now, you can begin to measure some of that international movement. You can put a quantitative, yes, a quantitative measure if you wanted to on that. Some of these they're qualitative and both are good. But you can put like how many trips internationally do you plan on taking in a certain season? Like you can set some measurable goals in some of those things. More stability. And again, I will push back, and you know me by now. What does that mean to you? Because stability to me could mean something very different than stability to you. So I'm pushing us to to like dive in to our goals and to the things that we're doing and really begin to make them things that when you get there, you have arrived at it. Otherwise, we always want more, right? More of this, more of that. How do you know when you got there, right? So, what does more stability look like? I'm drilling down even more. I appreciate you bold, Lysandra, and you're willing to engage on a live like this. So, blessings to you for that. But yeah, Camille, any thoughts for you? Like whatever you're embarking on.
Yeah, I want to see myself um, like living and 100% believe, especially when things get tough in life. My favorite scripture, Jeremiah 29:11. So
Mm,
I want to live that out even in the tough times, because when tough times come, then I have so many doubts
mm-hmm.
and questions, and that's just straight up, but I want to be more firm. And even though uh, there are challenges and situations that I would not sign up for, um, that come in life, that I hold fast. And it's not like I don't hold on to it, but I question some things.
Mm.
I don't want to question as much
Mm.
some things.
Mm.
I just want to know that I know that this is all for a reason, and it's going to be everything it's supposed to be at the end of this.
Mm. So is that surety? Like more certainty and surety
I think
with
so.
certain things?
So even though you don't know what the end will be, knowing that it's going to be what it's supposed to be, and
Wow.
being comfortable with that,
Wow.
because I need to know what's about to happen.
Is it control? What I'd like to see in the next season that I haven't seen in the seasons ahead is I want to control. No, I'm playing.
No, I'm saying because I need to know what's going to happen, or I stress over what ifs. Sometimes I want to rest in
mm,
Jeremiah 29:11 for real.
yeah. So what I'm hearing there is like you want your faith to be sure. Is
You
that
can
fair?
say that, yeah.
Like, and that's man, that's deep. So I want to. I mean, in other seasons, yeah, I've had faith,
Mm-hmm.
um, but I have had faith and then wondered, or had faith and then like, was that the right thing to believe for? Um,
So I constantly have to
yeah.
talk to myself, like, don't entertain that. Like, you can spend, for those of you who are in your head a lot, you can spend so much time just stressing about the what ifs.
Mm. So less doubt in what God has,
Said.
said and dropped in you and pushed you toward.
Mm-hmm.
Because yeah, I know because I know you really well, and we work this thing together, and we live
Mm-hmm.
this life together. That if God gives you a God said, um, we are bold enough. I won't use def, def, defamatory. That was a good one. I won't use those comments about us, but we're bold enough. Like if we get a God said, we'll we'll push on
I
into it.
push, I
We'll push.
work it,
Yeah.
but it's not, it's a huge effort.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And the doubt doesn't necessarily leave, even
Yeah,
though
I
like
still
we're
push
pushing
through,
anyway.
but it just feels like so much work still.
Yeah. Yeah.
I want to more effortlessly
Mm-hmm.
just be like, well, here it is,
Mm.
and I'm gonna go through it, and it's gonna be what God says it's gonna be.
It's that Abraham thing that you.
That's like, yeah, I guess maybe my continuous goal is, I yeah, I always want to be more like Abraham.
Yeah. Yeah. Go to a land that I will show you. All right, pack up the wagon. We headed out. Where? Where he shows me. Um, and so yeah, I feel that.
Mm-hmm.
I feel that. I see some of you all have been talking to us. Let's see. Andrea, looking for new perspectives. Yeah, you've had all the perspectives that you've already had. In this next season, looking for new perspective, new ways of
That's
responding.
good. Yeah.
Yeah. When stuff doesn't go the way that I wanted to go, I need to not fall into that same pattern. So I resonate with that, Andrea.
Mm-hmm.
I need to not fall into that same pattern of reacting the way I reacted and dismissing what I'm going to dismiss and like whatever. But looking for new ways of responding and new levels of impact. Ooh, I feel that. New levels of impact in this new season. Yep.
Mm-hmm.
How can I make a difference more? Um, we had recently, Caden uh, did her Gallup strength stuff. And I'm not going to give you all her information, but I'll tell you her number one theme was significance. And what I've learned about significance is very highly driven by wanting to leave your mark and wanting to make an impact. So that's that significance type drive, excuse me, that says I need to make greater levels of impact than what I've already made. I can already do what I've
Mm-hmm.
already done. I want to do something I've never done and impact something in a way that I've never impacted it before. I love that. Love that. And I know I'm not trying to get y'all to share your details and your most intimate details of your processing during these stages, but yeah, I would encourage each of you, just like I was doing with Lysandra. How will you know you got there? How will you know? Okay, I'm walking in that right now, and then I'm gonna ask you all another question that I know is difficult for me. How are you gonna celebrate it when you get there? Many times we skip that part. Like we get there and it's just another day, and we're like, we don't even stop and say, "Wow, I just walked out the goal, the idea, the purpose, the calling that I felt driven to." What are you going to do to celebrate it once you have arrived? So first, you got to know how you have. What will it look like when you have arrived? And then I'm challenging you all today. What you going to do when you get there? What you going to do when you get there? Love it. Lysandra, okay, cool, cool. You helping me with your definition of stability. Stability, more love. I really want to be able to help and be trusted by people, help people's lives in a way that matters. Yeah, yeah, I feel that. So that's stability. Like when I see people with need, if I have stability, then I'm able to step in if I feel the unction and like it's the right timing and the right thing. Stability allows me to step in to meet someone else's need. Now, if I have instability all in my own life, it's very challenging for me to meet somebody else's needs. So I love that, Lysandra. I love that. See, this stuff is given, believe it or not, we pray for y'all. And I've been praying for many of you all and things you're going through. Conversations like this help me kind of have a more fine tuned thing. This is what we need to be praying about. See? So even in your own life, these are things that we need to be praying
Mm-hmm.
about instead of just meet my need, God. There's more. Good. Yeah. Love when God talks to you. You want to hear
Right.
him.
Yep.
Yeah. And not just hear him, but do what he's because when he talks, he usually gives some level of direction. Like do
Right.
what he says. Right?
Mm-hmm.
That's where I'm trying to get. Like, I hear you, God. And that's what Camille was just saying. I hear you. I'm stepping out. I'm having faith, but remove that doubt. It's
Mm-hmm.
not really that I want more control. I mess with you on that, but I just don't even want to doubt. If you said it, I want to take moves and
Yep.
expect that what you said is about to bring forth what I know comes with your promises. Yeah. Stephanie said, in this season, I want to trust the process and see the fruits
Yeah.
of the process.
I hear you.
Yep. I figured you had something on that. Yep.
No, it's. I get it.
you know, when we think process, many times it's like, oh no, God's about to put me in another process. But we know that in order to get to his promises, we have to go through his processes. I'm going to say that again. That's good. That's, you can't say tweetable anymore, huh? Because
What?
it's not
Xable?
Twitter, it's Xable.
Is it what do you do when you
Is it still
postable?
Elon? Elon, is it a,
It's a post
he's not,
now, right?
Elon's not on right now. I thought he was on our, it's still, do they still call it a
Threadable?
tweet?
Threadable?
Yeah.
Who's on Threads?
What is thread? I haven't
Wait,
even
is it?
opened
Wait a
it.
minute. Yeah, it. Never mind. I'm getting confused
This
now.
is important. This is
I
necessary.
still have my Twitter account, which I don't. I'm not active with, but
Same.
is. But when you post, that's a thread, right?
I don't know. But then there's a whole nother social media platform, right? Called Threads or something?
Oh, that's Instagram. I'm confusing them.
Yeah.
Instagram did Threads. That's what it is.
It's like another thing that's sort of like what Twitter was, though, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think that's a thread. But what is X? What does that mean when you're on the previous Twitter,
I just want
what
to
are
do
you
that with
doing
you
when
right
you
now.
post on there?
Does anybody know? I don't, because I haven't posted on there.
Anyway, what were you saying was postable?
I don't know. What
Tweetable.
was it? Did somebody put it on there? Hey, mom, did somebody put it on there? We get distracted sometimes. This is how our daily lives go too. Be like, what were we talking about? Mm-hmm. All right.
Or you were talking about just going into the process and trusting.
Oh yeah. It dealt with. I'll never get it in the beautiful language that it was a few minutes ago, but it was that in order to get to God's promises, you have to go through God's processes. Because we sometimes like leave those processes away from. I don't want to be processed. But I think that was actually the language. In order to get to God's promises, we must go through God's processes. And so let Him process you. Let Him. Because He's given us something in every one of His processes. He's given us something that we need in order to be equipped for where He's taken us. If we don't allow the process, then if we did somehow get to the promise, we're going to mess up our opportunity at the promise because we're not equipped with what we need in order to be able to sustain the promises of God if we have not submitted. I know y'all don't like that word. I know. I know it's been abused and it's been weaponized, especially towards certain gender groups. But if we don't submit to God's processes, we will be ill equipped for God's promises. And even if we get it, it will be like our hands are a colander. Oh my goodness. And it just slips through. Oh my goodness. It just flows right through. We might get a piece of it, but we don't get the whole, the full desired promise that He wants to pour into our lives, because if we aren't processed, we are ill equipped for the promises.
We have to remember that it is development. It's
Mm.
all for a purpose and a reason and a destination.
Mm-hmm.
And when we have the desires we have, when we pray and ask God to help us to get to certain places in our mindsets or certain levels in life, it doesn't just happen.
Mm.
And that's the part we have to remember, that when those developmental opportunities come, it's to get us to a destination.
Yeah.
It's a class.
And if we don't go through the class,
How do you graduate?
you'll never pass the test. You'll never complete the class. You'll never graduate. You'll never fully, tangibly hold His intended promise. Do you know we can mess up the promises of God by not being ready?
Our desires are places that we are not currently at.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
There's a vehicle.
Can you say that again?
Our desires are, how did I put it? Our desires are destinations that we are not already at, something like that.
Man. What's
Hey,
up,
Dad.
RG Dad-in-law? I never know what to call
So I mean, it's
my father-in-law.
always it's somewhere that we are not already.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's sometimes it may be something that's bigger than us. It's not always something that's bigger than us. We have the tools to do certain things. So I wouldn't say that everything is always bigger than us, because God made us to attain certain things, right?
Mm-hmm.
But our desires and our asks
Yeah.
from God are always places that we are not at.
Yeah.
So how do you get there? What's the vehicle?
Right. How do you get where you've never been? Right? And what do you have to do to be able to get there? Because obviously you have not yet done something that will transport you to where you're trying to go. So there's some kind of change. Change often comes through the processes that we must go through to ready ourselves for where He's trying to take us.
To see the fruit.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. No, that's good. So Stephanie, I love that. You want to trust the process and see the fruits of the
Mm-hmm.
process. Let me see what it is that I'm going through this process for, not just see it like as a future thing, but let me hold it.
Yeah.
Let me really let me complete a I mean, goodness, let me complete a process so I can actually have what he wanted to get to me,
Mm-hmm.
right? Think about it. Every time that you have completed a process, you have received a reward, right? Whether that's
Yeah.
school, think educationally. When you complete the process of K through 12, you receive a diploma, right? Whatever, if you will, open yourself up to allow the process to process you, you'll have readiness to see something you've never seen before. That's why graduations are called commencement, because it's not the end of a thing, it is you starting something
Mm-hmm.
that you've never started before. You're about to walk into a phase of life that you never have walked into before. You're about to get what you've never had. You're about to do what you've never done. And in order to do that, you got to be ready in a way where you've been prepared for something that you have not gone through yet. Oh man, this is good. This is good to me.
Yeah.
All right. So Stephanie, yeah, in this season I want to trust the process, see the fruits of the process. Yeah, Lysandra, tell God thank you. Then look for the next Mount Nebo. Lots of direction. Walking was his idea. Okay, good. Mom, it's good
I
to
think
see you
that's a
today.
response to like, what
Yeah,
is your
one of the
response
questions.
once you?
Yeah, how will you know you
Yeah.
there? All of that. I got you. Love it. Then she got question marks on something we were saying. Then my dad-in-law is here. It's good to see you, man. He's gonna be on here with us soon when his schedule frees up because I think that he has plenty to bless us with on these kind of topics,
Mm-hmm.
especially. And so he's already doing it. You gain a greater appreciation of the promise when you prevail through God's process. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. You got to prevail. You got to keep winning even while you're being processed. Stop looking at God's processes as like they're punishment. We got a lot of P words going right now. God's processes are not punishment, they are preparation, and we have to prevail through the preparation in order to move into God's promise. It's all about his
Yep.
process.
Yep.
And his process gets you to his promise.
And
It's
I
a vehicle.
and I think too you protect it more because once you've been um, through that process, you know what it took to get
Mm-hmm.
to where you are. So that's even part of appreciating the promise because you have just made all this effort, learned all this stuff that you needed to be on the next level, next mindset, whatever. So when you appreciate a thing, you're gonna protect it a lot more.
Yeah, I like what you just said, Camille. When you've been through it, here's the other thing. Once you've been through a process, nobody can ever take that from you.
Mm-hmm.
Like, nobody can ever. I got the official transcripts for my degrees, right?
Mm-hmm.
It shows I completed these courses satisfactory and that a degree was awarded. Nobody can ever say, you didn't earn that
Mm-hmm.
degree because I went through the process. And so, same thing with all of these processes that God takes us through, there is no one who can take what you get from that process away from you. It's yours. You have gleaned it, you have earned it, and you've gained what we like to call lived experience. You have lived experience once you have lived through the process, prevailed through the process. You've earned some wisdom that nobody can take away from you. You have had that experience, and you can always tell people, "I've been through that, and this is how these things help me to navigate it."
Mm-hmm.
Right? It's a reward. It's an honor. It's good to see y'all. What's up, Teresa? What's up, Heather?
Hey Teresa. Hey Heather.
Let's see. We got more stuff y'all saying. Thank you for helping us out, Andrea. We don't know what to do.
Makes sense.
We just
Everything
say
is a
post
post.
for all platforms now. That simplifies it
Yeah.
because you can't keep up with these name changes. Is it Facebook? Is it Meta? Is it
Mm-hmm.
Twitter? Is it X? Is
Threads.
it Threads? Is it Instagram? Is Thread are Threads and Instagram the same?
No, it's like it's related to Instagram.
But it's a new platform,
Mm-hmm.
so you can't get to Threads through Instagram because Instagram be
Well,
letting you
I don't
get to all their stuff
I
through
don't
it.
have a but I think you have to have Instagram to do it. I'm not sure.
I know nothing about the whole Instagram world, which is also a part of Meta now, right?
Yeah.
Isn't it owned by Meta?
Yeah.
Yeah. It's this is all the same recycled stuff, and they're tricking us. All right. All right. Heather said it's hard to prepare for the unknown when it's more natural to fear it. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Our natural human reaction to the unknown is, ooh, I don't know what to do with that. Keep it away from me. But if we always keep it away from us, it will forever remain unknown and will forever be intimidated by it because we've never gotten to know it because we allowed our fear, oh God, to keep us from facing the unknown. What if the unknown is better than what you do know? What if have we ever stopped to think about that? What if what's out there, I think many of us we think it is, like what if what's out there is so much better than everything we've experienced, but we've allowed our comfort with our now and with what we've experienced to lock us in to causing us to have a fear of what we haven't experienced. But what if what we haven't experienced is so much better than what we have? The only way that we'll get there is to move that fear out of the way and allow ourselves to be processed, to be ready for what we have not seen. This is the purpose of faith. Now, faith is the substance of things hoped for, the evidence, what allows you to see, the evidence of things not seen. Faith allows us to confront the unknown with a hope and with a trust, which is what Camille was talking about earlier. Even though I don't know what's out there, I want to be just have such a surety in my faith that I will face what's the unknown with a comfort, with a peace, with a confidence that I know everything's going to be all right. That is the faith that we can have in God because He has seen it all. He has seen what we have not seen, and He pushes us and He nudges us and He urges us and He gives us unctions to keep moving forward to this thing that's scary to us because we like control and we like to know how everything operates. But He says, I need you to trust me even when you can't trace me.
Mm-hmm.
And He says, now step out into the deep. He told Peter, oh goodness, Peter was like, I want to walk on water like you walk on the water. He said, come on. Come on, Cletus. He says, step out into the deep, right? And oh my goodness. And he stepped out and was able to do what he should not have been able to do. He stepped out into the unknown for a minute. And then he started looking at it. He was like, oh, I don't know how to navigate this. And he began to drown. But the faith of the thing is that even when he began to sink, Jesus reached out his hand and pulled him up. And they both walked back on water to the boat. We don't talk about that last piece.
Mm-hmm.
We don't talk about that. He walked again. Even after he began to drown and sink, he pulled him up and they both walked back on the water. Oh my goodness, on the water. Okay. All right.
And good things come from a stretch.
Talk
You
about
know,
it.
think about
I'm
just
writing it down.
physically. When we stretch, what does that do for our body? You know, it helps our bodies to be able to handle some different movements better than it used to. Um, it we feel better, you know, and so yes, it's a process to for stretching. There's time that goes into stretching because you can't just, you know, when you start, you can't stretch, extend, you know, as far as you would want to, but it takes time to work on that stretching. And then the more you do it, the further you can go, and the more flexible and limber you are, and you feel good within yourself. So, a stretch does good things for us.
Yeah. Stretching even prevents you from aching
Mm-hmm.
after a high
A
level
hard,
performance.
yeah.
Man, he stretches us to make it so that when we get what we're getting, it don't hurt. Oh, good. I like it. I like it. She's good. She's good.
I
All
mean,
right.
the definition of a stretch is um, be made or be capable of being made longer or wider without tearing or breaking.
Mm. I remember one of the lessons that I was taught by one of, and I'm not kidding when I say this, I mean it, by one of the world's greatest organists and keyboardists, David Bernard Smith. Senior.
I didn't know his middle name.
I'm put it all out there. He's not on Facebook. He can't. It won't, well, his wife is. He may see it, but he taught me. It wasn't chords. I was like, hey, give me something. Give me something. Anytime he would come to town, I would be like, hey, I need you to teach me something. And I remember one of those times, one of those anniversary trips, the end of some July, one year or another. I was all ready for him to show me like a chord pattern because he has the best chord patterns of anybody, right? And so instead, what he showed me a stretching exercise, which was to play a C, then a D, C, E, C, F, C, G, C, A, C, B, C, C, and to stretch my fingers so that they would begin to be able to like
Mm-hmm.
go a long way, right? Because I would see him, he's left handed, he'd be playing these chords and he'd be using all five fingers and they'd be stretching across two octaves. And I remember asking, how do you do that? He's like, I trained my fingers. Mm. I trained my fingers to be able to reach the keys that they wouldn't have normally reached without stretching. And so he would do that exercise all the time. And he taught me that exercise. I started doing it all the time. But it was amazing how his fingers would stretch between his pinky and his thumb, how far they would go because they were taught to stretch. And once he had that stretch, he could reach keys that most people can't reach. So he could play a sound that was different than what most people's sound was like. So he didn't show me a chord pattern, he showed me a stretch.
Mm-hmm.
Ah,
I like that.
yeah. I need to get back to doing it. I can't. Because if you don't, oh God, if you don't keep stretching, you'll lose your flexibility.
Yes.
That's a word right there.
Mm-hmm.
If you don't keep stretching, you'll lose your flexibility. If God stops putting you in situations that will stretch you, then you're going to grow comfortable with what you have. You won't be able to reach. Oh goodness, as far as you would have been able to reach. You won't be adaptable enough. You won't be flexible enough to reach certain levels. So he has to keep putting you from faith to faith, from glory to glory, from strength to strength, in situations that continue to stretch you, that challenge you to do something that you've never done before, so that you can get something that you've never had before, so that you can reach levels that you've never attained before. I feel that thing today.
Stretch.
Stretch, stretch. Somebody need to find the right emojis and throw them in this thing, whether it's a rubber band, a bow and arrow, all these things. Stretch. What else stretches? Give me those emojis that make you stretch. I got y'all looking for emojis now. You know how we do. Yep. So we stretch. Good, 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 good. Great point, Heather. Thank you for that. We wouldn't have got to all these levels of discussion
Yeah.
without you being very vulnerable and acknowledging a truth that we all can agree with. It's hard to prepare for the unknown when it's more natural to fear it. Oh goodness, but some things are better done than imagined.
Mm-hmm.
Oh goodness. I like to say
It
people
just stays
say,
in your head.
yeah,
Where is the manifestation of it?
yeah, yeah. Stop dreaming, start doing.
Mm.
Man, that's good. So what the devil, Teresa, what's up? What the devil meant for evil, God uses for good. Accept the process, knowing
Yep.
that He's taking you to a good place, even if it's through a tough method. Listen,
Mm-hmm.
stretching sometimes hurts. Stretching sometimes feels like, well, why am I doing? It feels like a waste of time. Why am I in this
Mm-hmm.
process? Now I told y'all about these extra grades. That's the other thing. Like I dislike stretching before walking. But I'm getting to that age, and I'm at that point of bone structure and life where I need to stretch before walking so that I don't feel unnecessary soreness and pain at the end of it. But it feels like a waste of time. And so I want to avoid
Skip
stretching
that
and
process.
skip it. And then later on, I feel what I skipped. Man, we could stay right there.
Mm.
Yeah, 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 yeah. So that you can help. Yes. The devil meant you have more. It was a to be continued statement. What the devil meant, oh, this thing keeps going crazy. For evil, God uses for good. Accept the process knowing that. So that you can help others by words and actions. Yeah, and example, you
Yeah.
gain wisdom and nuggets by what you allow yourself to be
Mm-hmm.
processed through.
Yeah. We can help others greatly.
Mm. Mm-hmm.
to, maybe not even have to go through the difficulties that we went through.
Yeah. Learn from my mistakes.
Hmm.
Some people just bound and determined. I'm going to bump my own head. Some of us have learned that it's better to learn from the bump and the knot on somebody else's head
Hmm.
and not even have to entertain that knot than to get your own. Get your
Hmm.
own knot. Look, I'm going to get another knot on mine, even though you can tell me how to avoid it. Oh my goodness. You
Make
can,
no mistake, you still gonna have to be stretched somewhere.
yeah,
But yeah, we can avoid some unnecessary hurts.
yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Well, I'm so glad you did say something, Heather. There's no such thing as late with us. You're always right on time. And we're glad you're here.
Yeah, I'm glad you shared
And
what
I'm
was on
glad
your
you
heart.
shared. Yeah, we're here to share. We're here to share. Lysandra's mind is blown about something. About something. Let your mind be blown. Let your mind be blown. Uh,
What is
what are
cheese
cheese
stretches?
stretches? The only stretchy cheese I can think about is string cheese, but I don't know. I might not know what that one means, but that may be because I'm getting more grays as well. I don't know. We'll see. So yeah, that's good. That's good. So the initial question was, what do you want to see in your next season that you haven't seen in your past seasons? And this has led us to whole conversations on, well, in order for us to get to where we're trying to get, we have to go through what we haven't been through, and we sometimes have to be stretched into the unknown, even though we have some fear, with natural human fear of the unknown. We have to allow ourselves to be stretched, to walk on the water, and to know that He's going to be with us, where even if we do begin to fall or drown, or it seems like it's more than we can bear, He's there to be able to pull us up, to keep us moving forward, to keep us going. Uh, this is so funny. And to
I
keep
know what she's
us,
talking about though.
you do, you do, and to keep us moving. Yeah, Lysandra, stretch your mind too. Not just your body, stretch your
Hmm.
mind. Guess what? God's going to stretch your spirit even. Yes, thank you, Heather. See, we need to learn
I
about,
got the visual now, Heather.
we got to
Yes.
learn about what to call social media stuff now. We got to learn about an item that stretches melted cheese. Is it like
It was
pizza?
just for the visual. Like I think it's anyway. It just stretches the cheese for you.
That's good. Thank you for
Yeah.
helping me, Heather and Camille.
Where it wasn't stretched, it extends.
Where it wasn't, it extends. So okay, I was gonna really stay there and make it real awkward, and I'm not. I'm growing. I'm growing. Good. So good things, Camille said. Good things come from a stretch. They have whole businesses now. There's a down here. I've been seeing buildings that are popping up, and it's called the Stretch Lab.
Oh,
I
like
don't know what they do.
oh,
I'm gonna look it up while you talk to the people.
this is your idea. I don't know nothing about a stretch lab.
I don't either. So they're gonna have to wait. See, look at all these all around us. Stretch
Maybe you
labs.
just stretch.
I think they're flexologists.
That's sweet.
Woo! That's a good term. They'll give you a deeper stretch than you could on your own. Discover the benefits of a professional assisted stretching routine at Stretch Lab. $49 intro stretch special. Stretch Lab. Sometimes God puts us in the Stretch Lab.
Hmm.
Like I'm gonna stretch you out in ways you couldn't stretch yourself. See, anything will preach. Anything will preach with us. Says I'm going to stretch you because I'm going to get to the areas you can't get to. I'm going to get to the things that you don't know how to stretch yourself, so that you don't become, what's that term, um,
Complacent.
atrophy, so that your
Oh, okay.
muscles don't begin. Do you use that as a verb, to atrophy? Um, I know atrophy is when you don't use muscles, so you
Something,
lose the strength.
something. Yeah, they say it like such and such. This has atrophied or something.
Yeah, yeah. I think you use it as a verb. Um, but God says, I'm going to make sure that the strength that I've given you remains applicable. Oh, that feels good to me. I'm going to stretch what you haven't been flexing.
Hmm.
Because I'm going to keep your strength alive. So when he brings us into houses we didn't build, when he brings us into lands that we've never discovered, new frontiers, when he brings us into the trailblazing, trend-setting spaces of our lives, he has already revived some muscle tissue that we haven't been working out through his processing of us. He has developed our strength to have readiness for where he's taken us. Mm. That's good. It's good to me. So he's our stretch lab.
Mm-hmm.
Some of y'all looking up stretch labs. All right. Cool. The archaeological things in the Bible. I saw you talking about Mount Nebo. Yep. That's where Moses was. I know that. I haven't studied all of the archaeological things in the Bible, but I know that's where Moses was, on Mount Nebo. All right. Good. So he's stretching us. Um, Good things come from a stretch. We gain lived experience through our processes, and we earn some wisdom and we earn some abilities that no one can ever take away from us when we allow God to process us through into the new. So you all got some good things that you've shared with us today. I'm enjoying our time together
Yeah.
as always. I'm growing from it. I hope you're growing from it. Appreciate you all being with us today. We've got some plans in the next few weeks. We're going to try to have some people on with us, have some conversations, kind of along some of these kind of, what's the word I'm looking for? Realms, these topic type things. I think this
Topography?
topography, that's not
No.
really right. These themes, we're going to talk on on these subjects. That's probably what I'm looking for too. And keep on gaining ground on really walking in our purpose, accomplishing our purpose and our dreams, and moving into that the promises that He's given us. Camille's favorite scripture, and I know the plans I have for you. He has plans for us. We're going to keep talking about some of these things and begin to hopefully move individually and corporately into our next, into new dimensions, into new frontiers, into new opportunities, into new seasons, and into new places. So that's our hope. That's our plan. That's where we're going. We're going to hear about what He's done. We're going to hear about who He is, and we're going to hear about where we're going. That's what we'll do over the next few weeks. Love y'all, and have a phenomenal week.
Yeah. Thanks for joining.
Peace.